On the 21st of February 2020, the National Bureau of Statistics released 3 more volumes of the 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census Report. With a conversation on mainstream media leaning towards tribal politics and tyranny of numbers, on Debrief this week, we shut down the political rhetoric and make sense of these numbers and how they shape investment and development over the next 10 years. Hello there and welcome to Metropole Debrief. My name is Ondiro, Oganga. During the 2009 National Housing and Population Census, 30.237 million of Kenya's total population comprised of the youth. 10 years later, the 2019 census results show that Kenyans below the age of 35 are 35.7 million, making up to 75.1% of the total population. The youth population aged between 18 years to 34 years is 13.7 million people, as compared to 2009, where the number stood at 11.8 million people. Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Director General Zachary Mwangi says the uptake of youthful Kenyans in the job market has increased, with only a fraction looking for jobs.
Aged 18 to 35 was 13.6 million, out of which 61% were working, while 1.6 million were seeking work, all indicated that there was no job available.
In relation to distribution of population by administrative units, the total urban population was 14 million, while rural was 32 million. Nairobi County leads the country in the most populated urban areas, while Eldoret comes 5th.
Again, the most populous urban centers in 2019 were Nairobi City, with a population of 4,397,073 persons, Mombasa with a population of 1.2 million, Nakuru with a population of 590,674, Roiro with a population of 490,120, Eldoret with a population of 475,716.
The Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Planning, Okoria Tani, during the official launch of the report, called on the private sector to use these numbers to inform their business decisions.
Information you make on the basis of uninformed data will be the best solution for this country, even for yourself. In actually knowing your target customers, even for the private sector, this will be very, very important, because you know how many consumers are there and within what age brackets, what they like, what they don't like, so that now you make targeted decision and then the basis of the supplies and the demands.
The 3 reports released today are just the first batch of 20 more reports that the government will be releasing in due course on further findings from the 2019 National Census. For Metropole TV, I'm Ondiro, Oganga. Metropole Debrief is a dialogue. Everyone has a say. 20146 is our direct SMS line, or you can talk to us via our social media handles at Metropole TVKE, hashtag Metropole Debrief. Let us now put some of these numbers into context and dissect them, and to compare and contrast. So we begin with revenue allocations and infrastructural development. Now, the data shows that urban areas in 2019 had 14 million people, 831,700. As you can see, this is the number of urban people. In rural areas, the number stands at 32,732,596 people. If we compare the percentages, then urban is at 24.1% and rural still leads at 31.2 percentage points. Now, what are some of the most populated areas? Nairobi is the most populous city at 4 million people, 397,073 people, followed by Mombasa at 1,208,333. Nakuru comes 3rd, and we know Nakuru has been pushing to become or to be declared a city, 490,120 people. And then we move on to another city, rather place, which is Roiro. It had 490,120 people, and Eldoret comes 5th with 475,716 people. Now, this is the most populous regions. However, how does budgetary allocations look like? In the year 2019-2020 budget, counties got 316 billion Kenya shillings in allocations. What are some of the areas that got the lion's share? Nairobi, 15.9 billion, Turkana, 10.5 billion, and Nakuru, 10.47 billion Kenya shillings. Now, Kilifi and Kakamega counties were allocated 10.44 billion shillings and 10.42 billion shillings respectively. Now, with these allocations and ballooning populations, urban areas need to invest in maybe, let's say, proper infrastructure, functional healthcare, quality education, housing, water and sanitation. These are all key areas because when people are moving into your areas, they need to move. They need proper healthcare. Their kids need to go to school. They need a place to stay, and the sanitation needs to be on point. The question, however, is, are they making these decisions based on data? Let's look at a sector like education. The number of school enrollment has increased according to the census results. The population attending secondary schools in 2009 was 1,798,587. Now in 2019, almost doubled to 3,403,657. Now this can be attributed to the government's push for 100% transition and school fee subsidies. Now, according to the 2017 Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Economic Survey, Kenya had 8,592 public secondary schools, which was supplemented by private secondary schools at 1,350 schools. With these growing numbers, are we making the right kind of infrastructural investment in our schools to cater to these numbers, to teachers, reading materials, revenue allocation? Are we? We've finished with technical, secondary. Let's look at technical and vocational, because once they're done with secondary, they go somewhere. With TVETs, we had 325,196 enrollments in 2009. The number has grown by over 200,000 to 506,109. The question we have to ask then is, how developed is the informal sector to absorb these graduates, plumbers, electricians, beauticians? Are there tax incentives for them, for the informal sector, access to credit to allow the sector to grow and absorb more? Now, if you don't join a TVET, maybe you'll be joining a university to study there and pursue a bachelor's course. In 2009, 171,855 students. 2019, nearly double the figure, 470,983. This is the number of students who are in universities. Are we looking into the system overhaul where we retain graduates in the line, we retrain rather our graduates in the line of market needs? Are we teaching the same education curriculum that the teachers who taught us are still learning? Are we still teaching the same old journalism that was taught back in 1950s and 60s? Are we adapting to digital technology? Is there a business environment favorable for investors to set up shop in order to absorb this 470,983 graduates when they graduate? Look, if we are churning out 70,000 graduates on an annual basis, how many jobs do we need to create on an annual basis to ensure that we absorb each and every single one of them? Data shows that the population aged between 15 to 64 is 26,868,611, and the youth out of this, that is 18 to about 34, is 13,621,492. Now, what are we doing to prepare these people into the labor force? Are we creating enough jobs for these people? Now, out of this total number of youth who are about 13 million, 8,436,418 are working, and the unemployed is 1,647,484. What are we doing to ensure that all this demographic is absorbed into the job market, particularly the unemployed? Finally, As part of the Jubilee 100% rural electrification program, data shows that 50.4% had electricity in 2019, up from 22.7%. How do we ensure energy remains affordable for this demographic? How do we ensure that electricity gets to the 49% that is yet to be connected? Do we go with grid solutions or off-grid solutions? When it comes to water, a basic necessity, a dismal 34.2% in 2019 as compared to 30% in 2009. But remember, this is contradictory with our water for all by the year 2000. We still have about 66% to go. For a country that was working towards, as I had said, water for all by the year 2000, where did we miss the steps? How do we increase access to clean water for all Kenyans? How far are we in exploring options such as recycling and water harvesting? The purpose of collecting data is to use it to make informed decisions. We will be looking at the impact of these numbers and how they can shape and inform investment and development over the next 10 years after the break. As I had mentioned, Metropole Debrief is a dialogue, and you are always part of the conversation, or are welcome to be a part of that conversation. 20146, our direct SMS line, hashtag Metropole Debrief across all our social media platforms at Metropole TV KE. See you shortly.